Welcome to the Crazy Cool Family Podcast with Don and Suzanne Manning. Parents, what if we could give you the power to transform your family into something absolutely amazing?
A family where everyone is healthy, gets along, loves Jesus, and has great purpose in life.
Hey, let us flip your thinking to unlock the power God has given you to create your own Crazy Cool family. Hello, parents, and welcome back to part 2 of our podcast series of how to be an awesome parent. We are having so much fun giving you the big picture of things to do. We talked about different people to pursue in order to be an awesome parent. So if you were with us last time, and if you weren't, you probably should go back and listen to the last podcast. But if you're not and you want to stay here, we'll give you a brief update. And so we talked about pursue. We talked about how, that we don't want to be that parent that at the wedding day, our kid says, you were okay. You're okay, Dad. Or Mom.
Just fine.
Yeah.
That's my sentence.
You were okay, Mom. It was, you weren't there very much, but that's okay. We want to be that parent that our kid says, wow, you were an amazing dad. Or, wow, you were the mom I always, you were the best mom ever. And what do we need to do to be? We can't just, we don't learn it on our own. We don't learn, we need to do things. We need to put people in our lives that are going to help us be awesome parents.
Yeah, and so that's what we're talking about today is just the people in our lives. When we pursue different people in our lives, that's what helps us to be awesome.
Yeah.
We can't be awesome on our own. God was gracious enough to surround us with people, and He has a purpose and a plan with those people, for those people in our lives. And one of those purposes is to help us to be the most awesome person, the most awesome parent that we can be.
And one of the things we really didn't mention in the first podcast I want to bring up now is to really pray about who God is bringing in your life and to choose. God will show you people to pursue in your life. Mm-hmm. There may be 5 different people that you could pursue as a mentor, for example. That's one of the things we talked about was pursuing people in front of our family. And I've had many times, God, is this somebody you want me to pursue? And God said, yes. Mm-hmm. Or God, is this season ending for this relationship?
That's good.
And
yeah.
He said yes or no. And sometimes it's been yes and sometimes it's been no. But to pursue, even with people in your community, because, we've had small groups and people in our lives and we're like, okay, this person was in for a season, but now it's time to transition to another group, or it's time to do some different things, and being okay with that, because that's part of hearing God's voice.
Exactly.
Is to have people in your lives, but be willing to release them as well as be willing to welcome them in when God brings them.
Yes, I agree that I just think there's so many different people that God has placed on this earth to bless us and teach us and be in community with us and to help us. And so, and so that leads us to this topic that we're going to talk about today, which is pursuing people outside of our family, like people that we actually don't even know.
That's right.
Have a huge impact on our lives. I can't even begin to tell you how many different, whether it's books I've read or conferences that we've gone to where they have said a sentence or two and it's rearranged the whole way I handled a situation.
Yeah, like to some of you people that are listening to this podcast, you've never met us.
Right.
And so we may be, we are in this category for you. And, and we've talked about people in front of us. We've talked about people in the last podcast moving with us, building that community. It's almost like you build a community of people that are because people of outside of you that you trust. And those may be authors, it may be podcast people or whatever.
Yeah, you guys, that's y'all listen to podcasts. We didn't listen to podcasts. That was new to us.
It wasn't even invented.
Wasn't even invented. It's a very new thing.
We had all we could do is put a cassette tape in the
and
tape
we
recorder.
Did that for sermons. Oh, yeah. Yes, we listened to tons of sermons that way. And I would definitely say that's an outside influence. It's an outside influence on our family.
There was a particular pastor that I would get. He would have these cassette tapes that would go all the way through a book of the Bible, and like going all the way through Genesis or all the way through Ephesians. And I would buy those tapes, put them in my seat next to me, and I would listen to those tapes on the way to work over and over. The forerunner of podcasts today.
Right.
But now, one of the issues, parents, is, there wasn't a ton of information out there like that at that point. Now there's just millions of podcasts. There's millions there's 50,000 parenting books. And so what are you going to do to filter it through? Again, we talked about, why we made Crazy Cool Family. That's one of the reasons we did, was to help you filter through things. In fact, even in our Basecamp membership site, we have a deal called Outside Resources.
Right.
Because it's kind of Crazy Cool Family approved books and things that we want you, and we're always adding to that. But, part of it is choosing what outside resources you're going to have influence. And the good news is, though, you can read it, and if you don't like it, or you listen to the podcast, you don't like it, you can just let go of it and go to the next one.
Yeah, so we did a podcast, episode 59, which is our most recommended parenting books. And it's just a long list of books that helped build and create who our family was and how we became a Crazy Cool Family from these outside influences. And these are just some of the books that are there. So if you're curious to know what helped us build our family from the outside, then go back to listen to episode 59.
Yep. One of the things that we tell parents a lot is when you gain experience from outside resources, it's really much less expensive for you. That you gain their insight without having to go through it, without having to go through the pain that they went through. So you gain in just by reading. I remember our son Michael, when he was probably a junior in high school, he started to read books, and he'd never been a reader. He always struggled with reading a little bit, and so he didn't like it. And then someone flipped the switch in him and turned him on to reading books. And he came to me one time, and he's like, Dad, it's so cool. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said, Dad, when I read a book, it's like this author has spent 30 years living life, and he put into something that I can read in a few hours and get all of this experience.
Bling.
And I was like, it was so funny. He was like, Dad, this is so cool. But it's really true, because when we read or when we listen to that podcast, we are getting the benefit of years and years of experience.
Yeah, and so that's one of the things that Don laughs at Michael with his revelation in that. But Don is an avid reader. Hundreds of books, thousands of books, probably. He's constantly reading a book. He reads a new book every couple days, and he just rotates between
I don't know about every couple of days.
Well, a self-help book or a novel, or, it depends on what it is. You can easily finish a book in a couple days.
Sometimes, and it really is, and not only books, but just, podcasts and things like that. I think that it's really good for us to be, and it's not just about getting information, but it's about letting it transform you, taking those nuggets out of there that, like Suzanne says, are going to change the way you think. We read, even the novels I read, I like to read things that I'm going to learn from, that I'm going to,
Oh, I just read the book because we listened to the musical Hamilton on the way to get McCade's driver's permit. And I just became fascinated with the character Eliza, which is Alexander Hamilton's wife. I got the book, Eliza Hamilton, and read it. And I learned she was an incredible wife. She supported Alexander. It's like, I need to do a better job at that. I need to listen to my husband. When my husband's talking business, I need to listen to him. It was just, and so even from a fiction book, I agree that we can learn so much and we can apply it. That's the people outside of our families, the families that have gone before us, and they've written about it, and they've done it, and they've shared it with us, and they've gone to the effort of putting it in print. So, yeah, or they've gone to the effort of sharing it over a podcast.
Well, and let's talk about this specifically with regard to parenting and family. So you as parents, should be seeking things that train you in parenting. What is it that you're going to do? And again, that's why we designed Crazy Cool Family the way it is. We want to train you. We want to mentor you. We want to guide you in your parenting journey. And we want to be with you every step of the way. But there's other people out there that do that. But what are those authors that are going to shape your life, that are going to shape your parenting, that are going to shape your marriage? I can't tell you how many marriage books I've read. I'm still working on it. You know, I've read 50 of them probably, but I mean, and gotten different perspectives, but and even things like personality profiles.
Right.
Like, you know, we've been working on the Enneagram stuff and, you know, and learning everybody's Enneagram and what that is. And that's helped us to perceive people. So many things that relate to your parenting journey are out there for you. And what, you know, Suzanne, what would you say, what if people aren't readers, or what if people aren't, you know, what have you seen with other people when they maybe don't like to read, or, you know,
well, specifically, Michael and Mackenzie both had dyslexia, some form of that. We had them tested, and it showed that they have a hard time. And as I was teaching them to read, I thought, I was like, something is terribly wrong with me as a teacher. And we had them tested, and it's like, oh, they turn that upside down, or they turn that around. And so how they got around that is they listened to the books. They followed along, and they listened to the books. And that's what's beautiful with modern technology nowadays, is that most all books are audible. I mean, and Michael's got an Audible subscription, and that's what he listens to most of his books.
And that's why also that, you know, with a lot of people don't have the attention spans.
Right.
So therefore, you know, but there's so many short videos, or you can listen to an audiobook in 15-minute increments, or a podcast.
Like Mackenzie, because the reason she had a hard time reading was because her brain would work so fast that and her eyes couldn't keep up with it. And so when she listens to a book, she puts the speed up 2 or 3 or 4. I can't even comprehend it. Is that English they're speaking?
Yes.
And so she's worked with her brain. She's figured out to work with her brain. And so I'm so glad you brought that up, because I just really want to push in and say that there's a lot of information out there for you. It's going to help you. It's going to help your family. Don't let the roadblock of, I'm not a reader, I don't like to read, I don't enjoy reading. Don't let that get in the way. Bare minimum, if you get a hold of the book, then just go through and read the titles, read the table of contents, read the highlight little pieces, and you'll take something away from it.
Yeah, when we started to create our Basecamp membership site, we really studied how people learn.
Right.
And so we designed it with short videos.
Right.
15 minutes or less. And then we also have an audio version of that video on our site. And then we also have a PDF version. It's not necessarily a transcript. It's really just the highlights. Why? Because some people want to watch. They want to see us.
Visual learners.
And they want to see the captions and what they call the bottom thirds in the video. It's a video term I've learned. But it's, you know, it's
just the words on the screen, guys.
Yeah. And or they want to listen to it in their car. Or they might want to read about it, and so we designed it where and plus most people like shorter things rather than longer.
Just because our lives are so busy.
Yeah, so you know, Proverbs says that wisdom is with those who receive counsel. It says, listen to counsel. Proverbs 19:20 says, listen to counsel and accept discipline, that you may be wise the rest of your life. And I
even like that, accept discipline, accept discipleship. That's what they're saying.
Yep.
Accept what the counsel has to say to you. Come along, let someone come along beside you and teach you. And that's those outside influences.
There is a reason.
Resources.
There's a reason why Proverbs says that wisdom is a woman. Because if you think,
because we talk a lot.
No, I didn't say that. Because think about trying to get to know a woman. She is amazingly complex. She is complicated. She has lots of thoughts and feelings. That's the way wisdom is. When we pursue it, it's not something
Good.
we get
It's
quickly.
not simple.
It takes time. It takes repetition. It takes going over and over it. It takes months and weeks and months and years, not days. And so that's how that's why wisdom is personified in Proverbs. One of the reasons as a female, because God wants us to.
Yes, women.
Yes, God wants you to pursue it. And He's writing it, that, hey, think about how a man should pursue a woman. That's how we should pursue wisdom and how we pursue people. That's what we talk about, pursuing people outside of our family. Like, for example, think about, there are certain authors, and Suzanne, you might share a couple of yours. One of mine is John Eldredge. So I started reading John Eldredge. I didn't like him at first. I didn't.
Why didn't you? Because he was too mushy.
Oh, he was way too mushy. but then I read another book of his. I tried him again, and now I've read everything he's ever written. There are certain authors in my life that have, and he's had I wrote him a letter. I said, hey man, you've had a dramatic. I just thanked him for the influence he had on my life, because he is a mentor that has no idea who I am.
Right.
There's other people that I've read, maybe a couple of books of theirs, and because certain people are going to be your favorites. They're
Right.
going to, and you go to them, and they become mentors in your lives.
Yeah.
Who's somebody like that for you?
There was several, but the one I think I want to talk about that most of you moms will know is Beth Moore. I mean, she's done so many Bible studies, so many different things that we did them with our community, with our group, and it radically changed the way I thought about things and the way I did things, the way I prayed. She just has the sweetest love for Jesus. It's just so sweet. He's very much a person and a friend to her, and she is super intelligent and very smart and knows the Word of God like the back of her hand. She has got such a precious relationship with Jesus, and that's what I've patterned my relationship after Jesus is like she just talks about him like he's her just very, very best friend, not some lofty God that lives up in the heavenlies, but literally somebody that she communicates with and talks to all day long. Her sweet Jesus is what she calls him.
Okay, now we are going to transition to the last and best thing, and what we're all moving for. Let me take you down a little bit of the journey we've been down. If you go back to that first podcast, if you haven't listened to it, we're talking about pursuing people, and we said, hey, you want to pursue people in front of your family, mentors. You want to pursue people out in front, families, people in front of you. We want to pursue people moving with our family, community. We want to pursue people outside of our family, authors, podcasts, all those things. But then the last one's the most important. We want to pursue people within our family.
Yeah, I would honestly say that the reason that we do the other three is so that we can successfully pursue the people in our family.
Yeah, I mean, this is why you're doing all those other things, because you get to take what you learn, and you're gonna, hopefully you do this anyway, but hopefully you're gonna take what you learn, and you're gonna get to apply it, take it inside to the most important people in your life. And those people are, the people in the other groups may come and go. You may change your mentors. We hope you keep us as your mentors, but you may change your community. You may change the authors you read or the podcast you follow. But hey, those people inside your family, God has absolutely handpicked them for you. He picked them just for you, and they're not going away.
Yeah, exactly. Those people aren't going anywhere. You're not going to change those people. They're in there for the long haul. And I love it that he's handpicked them, but I really love just for you. So I want you to hear that. Sometimes I don't think we realize as parents that our children have been given to us as a gift. We think we've got to do, and we do, have to do all the things for them. And we see them as a whole lot of work. But actually God's given them to mold us and shape us into the people that he wants us to be. We, on the altar of a child, we sacrifice selfishness and our sleep and our food half the time, because we share that with them. Everything we lay on that altar of self-sacrifice for our kids, they make us better people. They open up our eyes and they open up our hearts to a bigger world and to a better world. They change us from the outside in and the inside out. And sometimes I don't think we see that as parents, that's what our kids get to do for us. And so we take those other three peoples in our lives and everything we've learned from them, and we get to apply it to the little people in our lives while it's changing us all along the way.
Yeah, and so really that's why at Crazy Cool Family we say, hey, we want you to become a relationship expert with every member of your family. That we want you, and so what happens is you interact with others and you get mentors, and you're going down a goal saying, how do I learn how to ultimately be able to practice connecting with my kids?
Yes.
And over, and we learn all this stuff about them. What's their personality? Mm-hmm. What do they like? What annoys them? What motivates them? Because listen, parents, Suzanne's right, it changes us. But here's something that the more you get to know about every member of your family, the better parents you're going to be.
Right.
And you get to know it.
The better person you're going to be. I keep going back to that. The better person you're going to be. The parent is the role, but you're the person, and that's what we're going after.
And really that we want to be able to, in order to be able to pursue people within our family, we also need to pursue people outside of our family. Mm-hmm. Because, and it helps. We help those people, they help us and all that. But ultimately, in the core of who we are, it's who we are and with our family. And mm-hmm. those are the other people are important. But these people within that God has entrusted to us, and He truly has. He has entrusted these beings to you. And sometimes, I don't want to go learn how to parent. I'm like, dude, God has entrusted these people to you. Yeah. Why aren't you wanting to become an expert with the people God, and maybe that sounds a little harsh, but I'm like, hey, and usually I'm talking to guys because I don't say that to a woman, but I would say, hey, look, this needs to be important to you.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do it, then, you're probably not going to get the result that you want, and you're not going to be all that God wants you to be for your family.
Yeah, and so I just think that so many times when God's given us this family for us to learn relationships in, it's almost like He's put us in a lab, in a petri dish, with these people,
with all these people who are really different.
Yeah, who are different, but they have enough. They have enough of us in them for us to know. Oh, I did that. Oh, I used to do that. Oh, that looks familiar. That looks similar. And so when we are in that, what we're learning within our family, the people that live under our roof, what we're learning is so valuable to apply in the relationships outside of our family.
Yeah, and it's also just got these unique people, and even though they're different, we love them. We, and they put all these, they bring out all these emotions in us. Well, once we learn to become relationships experts, and we learn that power, and we learn from others how to do it, then we can apply it inside, and we can channel those emotions. We can channel that love into greatness. Because hear us, parents, when you know how to do relationship, you will become an awesome parent. Mm-hmm. You will be able to connect with your kids. You'll be able to read your kids. You'll be able to inspire your kids. But it's something, wouldn't you agree, Suzanne? It's just something you have to learn. Most people don't have this innate ability to be able to do relationships.
Yeah, and so I just want to tell you practically how to do that. How do you pursue the people in your family? You study them, you learn them, and you equip yourself with some words. Like one of the things that I learned is that some of my kids were introverts and extroverts, and I'm an introvert and Don's an extrovert, and that just shed so much light into why this kid wanted to go play all the time and while this one didn't.
Yeah, I didn't like the ones that didn't want to go play.
Or the internal processors or the external processors, the ones that would talk all the time and the ones that wouldn't talk at all. And we've got it balanced. I mean, half of them do and half of them don't. Or learning their favorite colors. A few of them like the color blue, a couple like the color green. Macy loves the color purple. Knowing that. And so parents, that's what I encourage you to do. What are your kids' favorite colors? What are their favorite numbers? How do they process? Are they introverts or extroverts? Maddox loves deep conversations. McCade is a pest.
He's definitely a pest.
But he's a lot of fun. He's the baby of the family. And knowing that oh my goodness, the birth order.
Right.
Huge, gives you huge insight onto each of your kids and their different things, different responsibilities, and how they react and respond. And so I just encourage you, as you pursue the people in your family, your spouse and your children, learn some things about them, because it's going to help you interact with them, and it's going to help that relationship. It's going to help you connect with them when you go, okay, you're an internal processor and I'm throwing a bunch of stuff at you right now. You're not ignoring me. You're not being rude. You're not being a punk. You're just processing what I'm saying to you. And let me give you some space and time to come back and process back with me. And so it's so helpful to pursue them and know them.
Well, and ultimately, parents, what you do is you learn from the outside people how to deal with the inside people.
Exactly.
And then when you learn how to deal with the inside people, it helps you also deal with the outside people.
Yeah.
I want you to hear that.
The people in your community. Yeah.
Well, even the people that you work with, the people that, you've told our kids so often that, hey, you better get along with that sibling or God's going to bring somebody else and you just like them. He's going to bring a boss. He's going to bring a friend. He's going to bring somebody, because you got to learn, because God brought that person because they're special, because God really wants you to learn that type of relationship. But what I want you to hear, parents, is that God uses community in that way. He has us pursue the outside people, and then we learn from them to learn better how to pursue the inside people. And then when we learn the inside people, it helps us better do the outside people. It becomes this flow and this that happens. But it all starts with the core of who we are. It all starts with the core people that God's entrusted with us, the people within our family.
Right.
But let us kind of wrap up with this. We've done, I hope this has made sense to you, and we're talking about how to be an awesome parent.
Through pursuing people.
Yeah, and the people, obviously the core is your family. But if you just think you've got it down and all you need to do is pursue your family, that's probably not going to work for you, because most people really don't know how to do it. And that's why we tell you to pursue the people that are in front of you, to pursue the people moving with you, to build that community. And then even the people outside, the resources outside, that there's so much out there. Parents, there's no reason that you shouldn't know how to be an awesome parent. It's available to you. It's a matter of pursuing it. And then I just want to wrap up with kind of where we started the first podcast, of pursuing God as well, of pursuing God as your Father, and all of this and pursuing people that also point you to the Father. Any parting words, Suzanne?
I just want to say that the most valuable thing that we can invest our time and energy in is people. And so keep that in mind, whether it's the people that are, like we said, in front of you, the community around you, even if you're gleaning wisdom from people you don't even know, for sure the people in your family, God designed it and created that way. He put Adam and Eve on the earth, and he said, go forth and multiply, fill the earth. And so that's what it was, his God's plan as people. And so what are we going to do with people to help ourselves become our most awesome self and our most awesome parent?
Yeah. Remember that question we asked you at the first. Do you want to be an awesome parent, or do you want to be an average one? Do you want to be that parent that when your child is making that toast, says, hey, thanks, Mom and Dad. Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad. You guys were amazing, and you were there for me every step of the way. Thanks for your wisdom. Thanks for your inspiration. Thanks for your insight. That's the kind of parent we all want to be. Hopefully, we've given you some insight over the last couple of podcasts about how to pursue that in your life by pursuing people. Thanks for being with us, parents, and go be crazy, crazycoolfamily.com. Hey, I hope these 2 podcasts on being an awesome parent are helping you get a vision for how you can do things differently as a parent to better connect with your kids and help inspire them to connect with Jesus and connect back to you. But hey, parents, we want to go deeper with you than just our podcast. Our passion is to train you, to guide you into everything God has for your family. You can read our book, you can listen to our podcast, and those are helpful. But the best way we can help you is through a membership we've designed that we call Basecamp. What's a membership site? It's a way through technology that we can give you all of our content and interact with you over time to teach, inspire, and guide you on your parenting journey. We can't learn parenting overnight. We can't learn it by just reading a book. Basecamp allows us to drip our crazy cool family content into you a little or a lot at a time at your pace, so then you can go out and apply it with your family and then come back for more. Listen, parents, if you could invest just a small amount of your time and resources each month, and it would give you the blueprint on how to be an awesome parent and give you the best shot at your family being awesome, would that be worth it to you? That's what we designed with Basecamp, and that's what we have for you. Go check it out. We open up membership a few times a year, and it's open right now. Go check out the link in your episode notes or in your podcast email. Come join us in Basecamp. It's the best investment you will ever make in your family.